Hey, welcome back to Spectre Creative. I'm a Lego representation of your host, Scott Toy Guru Nightlick, and lately I've been making a lot of videos about two things. One, the price of chicken feed. Two, the translation of hieroglyphics. And three, what's going on with pre-sale toys. You're probably here for the latter. Well, unless you're here for Doodling with Purpose every Sunday morning. All right, so there's two big pre-sale toys going on right now. One at the big M, one at the big H. Eternia at the big Mattel, and Engines of Vengeance at the big H, Hasbro. Both are pre-sale items of several $100s, and I've made quite a few videos talking about the logistics behind these. And one of the reasons is, well, they cost a big bunch of cash, and giving up a huge amount of money for an item that we have to back ahead of time is a big decision. Now, I've tried to present the why of these items costing so much, costing in the hundreds of dollars, and that's relatively easy to do from a business standpoint. What I can't tell you is whether or not they're worth it. That's a personal opinion, and I have to see more from Eternia to be able to make a video about that, but it's an entirely different concept altogether.
It's an entirely different kind of flying.
So yes, my many videos explaining the why, such as, why toy companies make these, why they're priced so high, are all about understanding the business. The personal choice of whether or not you're going to buy it is up to you, and I can't tell you what to do. Yet. All right, but I do get a lot of questions in my subscription or subscriber comment section, and many people like Daniel Rubiton here and Rupture Farms 21 are asking if they could lower the price if it was a higher quota. Meaning, could they just show the item at a lower price if higher quotas were hit? And like communism, this is a really good concept in theory, but it doesn't work so much in the real world, and let me kind of explain why. So yes, HasLab, Mattel Creations have had items that have surpassed sort of that first tier, which is usually the minimum order quantity they have to make in order to hit their required margin. The same margin they're required by retail lines, they make it up with these by higher prices because of such a low quota. So we can look at some past successes and see that they've surpassed this MOQ several times, and that's great. But is it enough to lower the price significantly? Well, that's exactly why I started this channel, because I can give you those answers. That's kind of what sets this channel, why is this channel different from all other channels? And not just because we dip twice and eat matzah, but because I am an adult collector, and despite people saying I'm not, and I'm just a, shill for the toy industry and, trying to be a spokesperson, I'm not paid by Hasbro and Mattel. I collect toys. I've been collecting toys my entire life, just like you. This is my office. I surround myself with toys. But I've been fortunate enough to actually work in the toy industry, and especially on collector product. And it's odd because this is the other comment I see over and over again. People saying like, oh, I was thrown out of the toy industry. I was fired from the toy. Yeah, none of that is true. I resigned from Mattel to go to Jax because I got an offer from my previous director. I mean, why would I start at Jax a week after Mattel? It's like, you can say the sky is falling all you want. It doesn't make it true. So yes, I've been in the toy industry and I am legitimately a collector, which is why I'm able to kind of present these ideas. So yeah, you can keep, shouting all you want, but if it's not true, it's not true. All right, so let's get back to the mailbag and ask why they can't just charge less. Well, the reason is you're talking about volume discount pricing strategy, meaning the more you buy, the lower the cost from the manufacturer, and ideally you can pass that along to the end consumer. And that is very true. That's absolutely a very legitimate way business is done. The reason that these high-priced pre-sale items can't operate this way is because, one, they can't put out a price, say, oh, if we hit this many more, we'll lower the price. You can't say that ahead of time because you may not. But so what they do is they do volume pricing. It's just not in the way you think. It's like Madison with two S's and a Y. So it's the tiers that are providing this. And we all know as you hit above the MOQ, which is usually tier 1, there's add-on items as you hit higher quotas. The companies have been adding items like extra heads, pack-in figures, extra hands, all sorts of little things. And some of these unlockable tiers are planned from the beginning, and sometimes they have to add more because the item does so well, and that's a good thing. The reason that the tiers can't be a lower price is because the discount to get to that lower price is not even close to the difference between tiers. So let me kind of explain. We're used to discounts in the real world being things like 20% off, 50% off, buy one, get one. all that kind of stuff. That's sort of our cognitive schema. When you're dealing with the change in price from, say, 5,000 units to even 20,000 units, it's very minor. It's basically enough to be able to afford to give you something like an extra head or a pack-in figure or an extra hand. It's not enough to lower the price, by several $100s. Going from 5,000 to 7,500 to, again, to 20,000 units, while it feels like a big jump, it's a tiny, tiny amount, especially when you're looking at most retail lines selling product in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of units. So all of these extra parts we get, face plates and figures and blast marks and, et cetera, these tiers are the discount they're giving you because they're hitting above that MOQ. So while they can't change the overall price, they can make up for the discount they're getting by giving you more items. It's so small. Again, retail sells millions and millions of units. That's why they get big discounts. When you're talking about 5,000 to 20,000, you really got to be closer to 500,000 units to talk about a significant price difference that they'd be able to pass along to consumer. So while we feel like we should get a deep discount if we hit 20,000 units on a pre-sale HasLab Mattel Creations item, that's just not logistically feasible because the discount that the vendor passes on to the manufacturer, to Mattel Hasbro, is very small. It's just enough to afford maybe an extra head on your Sentinel. And a lot of this, sadly, does come back to a sort of a theme of adult collectors kind of, not wanting to listen to actual factual information, or more so just the fact that because we're all constantly talking to each other online, we feel like there's just this huge mass of us out there. But you can even look at the HasLab items that have gone forward. They've hit between 5,000 and 20,000. Did Galactus get to 30? Either way, it's a much smaller group. Especially, you have to remember, most items at retail are in the 100,000 to a million units. That's such a difference. So yes, we are louder when we come together, but that doesn't mean we're more numerous. Just because you're posting a lot or, you're very loud online does not equate to an increase in the number of customers. And you might say, oh, but if you offered the Engines of Vengeance for $200, you'd get more customers. Yes, but they'd have to be selling, in the hundreds of thousands of units to be able to lower the price that much. So we get tier add-ons. That is the discount. There's just not enough units. I mean, we're just not even in the same ballpark to talk about a significant discount. And the items that do well, like Galactus, have been things people have been asking for years. That's why you see the interest peak out. But peaking out is 20 to 30,000, not 100,000 and a million. So again, like communism, the concept works in theory. But until we have 500,000 people buying a HasLab item, we're not even close to the realm of a high enough quota to lower the price or even dangle that out there that, oh, hey, if we got, this many, backers, we'd be able to actually lower the price. That would be the tier unlock, is a price lowering. That's just not possible. They give us instead add-on figures, which are much more feasible, much more concrete, and it doesn't just kind of screw up the P&L when you don't know, okay, well, we're charging $300 if we get this many, and $200 if we get this many, and $100 if we get this many. That makes a complicated project so much more complicated, and we just don't have the numbers to see that kind of discount appear. I hope this video clarified some of those questions showing up in the comments board. If you have others, please let me know. I love trying to, or hopefully successfully explaining these things. And share this video. It's the best way to support this channel. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.